Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short Story 646, The Void Within, Part 2, Intermediate. Emma stood frozen, her reflection in the broken monitor staring back with those unnatural red-tinged eyes. The lab was eerily quiet, the hum of the destroyed neural bridge replaced by an oppressive silence. She touched her face, half expecting her fingers to sink into something otherworldly, but her skin felt human, cold but human. Days passed and Emma tried to resume a normal life. She locked the lab, vowing never to touch the machine again. Yet the whispers returned each night, softer now, like a lullaby from a nightmare. "We are you," they murmured. "You cannot escape." She began to see shadows in her peripheral vision, fleeting shapes that vanished when she turned. One evening, as she sat in her apartment, a sharp pain pierced her skull. She stumbled to the mirror and gasped. Her eyes were fully red now, glowing faintly in the dark. Panic seized her. She knew the void had taken root, growing inside her mind like a parasite. Determined to end it, Emma returned to the lab. The wreckage of the neural bridge lay scattered, but its core still pulsed with a faint blue light. She scavenged the parts from other machines, working frantically to rebuild a smaller version. If she could re-enter the digital world, she might expel the entity, or destroy herself trying. The makeshift device hummed to life. Emma strapped herself in, her hands trembling. As she closed her eyes, the void welcomed her back. The shadows were stronger, their forms more defined, led by her alternate self, who smiled with a twisted grin. "You thought you could leave us," it taunted. Emma fought with every ounce of willpower. She navigated the digital chaos, searching for the entity's anchor, a glowing thread connecting it to her mind. The shadows attacked, their cold touches burning her digital form. Pain blurred her vision, but she found it, a pulsating knot of code. With a scream, she tore at the thread. The void trembled, the shadows shrieking as the connection severed. Her alternate self lunged, but it dissolved into nothingness. The digital world began to collapse again, and Emma felt herself being pulled back. She awoke in the lab, the makeshift machine smoking and dead. Her eyes were normal again, the red gone. The whispers had stopped. Exhausted, she destroyed the remaining equipment, ensuring no trace of the neural bridge remained. Months later, Emma lived quietly, teaching science at a small college. The nightmares faded, but sometimes, in the quiet of night, she felt a faint echo, a reminder of the void. She had won, but at a cost. The world was safe, and she was free, or so she hoped. As she graded papers one evening, a single shadow flickered on the wall behind her. It lingered for a moment, then vanished. Emma smiled faintly, knowing the fight might never truly end, but for now, she had her life back. Vocabulary notes. Eerily, adverb. Definition. In a strange or unnatural way that can feel spooky or unsettling. Example. The lab was eerily quiet. The hum of the destroyed neural bridge replaced by an oppressive silence. Explanation. This word describes the strange, unsettling silence in the lab, adding to the horror atmosphere. Similar words: unnaturally, strangely, spookily, uncannily. Another example. The old house was strangely silent at night. Vow, verb, also used as a noun. Definition: to make a serious promise or decision to do something. Example: she locked the lab, vowing never to touch the machine again. Explanation: Emma makes a firm promise to avoid the machine, showing her determination after the first ordeal. Similar words: promise, swear, pledge, commit. Another example: he swore to protect his family no matter what. Parasite, noun. Definition: an organism or thing that lives on or in another organism, taking what it needs without giving anything back. Example: she knew the void had taken root, growing inside her mind like a parasite. Explanation: this compares the void to a parasite, suggesting it feeds on Emma's mind, adding a creepy image. Similar words: leech, freeloader, invader, burden. Another example: the plant acted like a leech, draining nutrients from the soil. Anchor, noun, also used as a verb. Definition: something that holds or connects something else in place, often providing stability. Example: she navigated the digital chaos, searching for the entity's anchor, a glowing thread connecting it to her mind. Explanation: the anchor here is the link the void uses to stay connected to Emma, which she must destroy. Similar words: link, tie, connection, foundation. Another example: the rope served as an anchor to keep the boat steady. Sever, verb. Definition: to cut or break something apart completely. Example: with a scream, she tore at the thread. The void trembled, the shadows shrieking as the connection severed. Explanation: Emma breaks the connection to the void, showing her final act to free herself. Similar words: cut, break, split, disconnect. Another example: he cut the rope to release the trapped animal. Story written by Grok AI. Image created by Grok AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you.
All right, today we're going to do something a little different. We're breaking down a really chilling sci-fi horror story called The Void Within. Our goal here is to get under the hood, to see not just what happens, but how the author uses very specific language to build this world of psychological terror. So, yeah, let's dive right in.
And bam, right out of the gate, we get hit with this. We are you. You cannot escape. This is so creepy because it's not some monster growling from the shadows. The threat is internal. It immediately tells us the fight is for our hero's own mind, her own identity. This is the line that just pulls you right into the story.
So let's meet our protagonist, Emma. Now, the story doesn't start with some big, flashy explosion. Nope, it starts in the quiet, right after everything has gone wrong. We find Emma standing in the ruins of her own creation.
You've got to picture this scene. The machine she built, the neural bridge, always had this constant hum. But now, it's gone, replaced by what the author calls an oppressive silence. And the very first sign that something is terribly wrong isn't some creature jumping out. It's subtle. It's her own reflection in a broken screen. And her eyes, they've got this unnatural red tint. The horror is already personal. This is where a single word, eerily, does so much heavy lifting. You know, eerie means something is strange, unsettling, just wrong. So the lab isn't just quiet, it's eerily quiet. The author basically weaponizes the absence of sound, turning it into something that creates genuine dread.
So, what do you do after something traumatic happens? You try to get back to normal, right? And that's exactly what Emma does. She locks the door in the lab, both literally and figuratively. She's trying to reclaim her life, to just forget this whole nightmare ever happened. It's a totally rational move, but as we're about to see, this thing she's running from doesn't play by the rules.
And listen to the word choice here. The author doesn't just say she decided to forget. The word is vow. A vow is a serious, solemn promise. That one word shows you just how deep her fear is and how desperate she is to escape. But, some promises are impossible to keep. Now this is how you build tension. The story doesn't just throw the next big scare at us. It's a slow burn. Day 1, it's just whispers, easy to dismiss, right? By day 3, she's seeing shadows at the edge of her vision. By the end of the week, there's no denying it. The physical change is complete. Her eyes are glowing red. The escape she vowed to make, it's already failed.
And this brings us to a huge turning point. Emma can't pretend anymore. This thing from the machine isn't just a bad memory. It's an active presence. It's like an unwanted tenant living in her mind, and it's not paying rent and it refuses to leave.
This line is just brilliant. This is the moment Emma's understanding of the threat completely changes. The void isn't just haunting her from the outside, it's colonizing her from the inside. And that word the author uses, parasite, is so incredibly effective. Which brings us to our next key term.
Think about it. A parasite is an invader that literally feeds on its host to survive. By calling this digital void a parasite, the author gives us this really gross biological image for a technological threat. It's feeding on her thoughts, her fears, her very consciousness. And that's the key, right? She can't run from it because it's a part of her now.
Okay, so that realization, it changes everything. If you can't run, you have to fight. And for Emma, her only choice is to go back to the place where it all started. She has to willingly re-enter the digital world of the neural bridge.
And this sets up our two battlegrounds. You have Emma's world, physical, cold, but real, and then you have the void, this chaotic, insane digital realm made of shadows. To save her own reality, she has to risk being completely destroyed in that digital nightmare. I mean, the stakes just could not be higher. But faced with this, Emma doesn't just panic. She gets a plan. It's a desperate 4-step Hail Mary. Return, rebuild, re-enter, and destroy. But pay attention to that final step. Find and destroy the entity's anchor. That word is the key to our entire strategy.
So let's get into the climax. Emma jacks back into the void, but this time, she's not exploring. She is on the hunt. She's there for a face-to-face confrontation with that shadowy version of herself that's taken over.
The digital world is way more hostile this time around. The shadows aren't just spooky shapes anymore. They are actively attacking her. But she has this laser focus. She's not trying to fight all the shadows. She's fighting her way through them. She's looking for their source, that connection, that anchor.
And that's what the entity's anchor is. Just like a real anchor holds a boat in place. This pulsating knot of code is what's holding the void stable and tethering it directly to her mind. To kill the parasite, she has to destroy its anchor.
And here it is, the moment of truth. After fighting through all that chaos, she finds it. And this isn't a delicate operation. It's just pure, raw willpower. She grabs that digital connection, that anchor, and with a final scream, she just rips it apart.
And the word the author uses here is again just perfect. Sever. To sever something isn't just to weaken it or disconnect it. It's a clean, violent, and total break. The link is cut. The parasite is hopefully gone for good.
So the connection is severed. Emma wakes up. The battle seems to be won. But is the war really over? This final section of the story explores the aftermath, and it leaves us with this lingering sense of, well, unease.
The immediate result looks like a total victory. She wakes up back in the lab, totally exhausted, but she's whole. Her eyes are her own again. And most importantly, that silence that was so eerie before, now it's peaceful. The whispers are gone. It really seems like she pulled it off. We jump forward a few months, and she's built a new life. She's teaching science, sharing knowledge, instead of breaking its rules. She's methodically destroyed every last piece of her old research. She's done everything right.
But then the author slips in that one crucial line. A faint echo of the void remains.
And this is the haunting final image. Life is normal, totally routine. She's just grading papers. And then, for just a second, a single shadow flickers on the wall. But it does something a normal shadow doesn't do. It lingers. Just for a moment, and then it's gone. Was it just her imagination, or was it a reminder?
And that leaves us with this final question, right? What does that shadow actually mean? Is it just the permanent scar of trauma that she'll always carry? Or is it a sign that some tiny piece of the void, no matter how small, is still anchored to her? The story doesn't give us an easy answer. It suggests that even when you sever ties with the darkness, its shadow might just linger forever. What a chilling thought to end on. Thanks for digging into this story with me.